Eisenhower becomes the Republican candidate in a very interesting fashion. He is the only former general to become president in the 20th century. It had been a common practice prior to that in American history. Many American presidents, both well-known presidents, people like Ulysses Grant or Andrew Jackson or George Washington, had been generals, and people who maybe are not so well-known, somebody like William Henry Harrison, for example. You know, there had been many presidents who'd been generals. No fewer than 4 Union generals of the Civil War become president in the late 19th century. But this practice had gone. Teddy Roosevelt had had a military background, but his military background had been not that of being a general, and in practical terms his military experience was rather that as a civil servant and politician in the Navy, and not, for example, as an admiral. He would have liked to have been the admiral, but he wasn't the admiral. In fact, it's rather interesting to imagine what he would have been like as the admiral. But the idea of having a general as president did not seem that implausible to people at the end of the 40s, beginning of the 50s. Remember, America had fought the war with a civilian, with the civilian male population, many of them turned into soldiers. It had been a cohesive national experience. It had been a national experience which, there was always differences, and there are always differences, but it had been actually, in terms of America's wars, a singularly benign and a singularly inclusive experience. And Eisenhower benefited from that and benefited from his war record.